Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupaswarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakhyam Namami Bhaktashaktikam Namah Pankajanabhaya Namah Pankajamaline Namah Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangraye Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Brahmanya Devaya Gobhramanahitaya Cha Jagadhitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagatgurum. Sarvebhyo Namaha Sarvesham Krite Swagatam. So there is this very interesting narration in the Mahabharata. The Mahabharata is divided into what are called as Parva sections. Just like in the Bhagavatam we say Skanda, in the Ramayana it's Kanda, Mahabharata Parva. So the fourth Parva in Mahabharata, the third Parva in Mahabharata is called the Vana Parva. Vana Parva describes the Vanavasa of the Pandavas after they lose their kingdom and everything after the gambling match. 2 times it happens, and finally they get back their wife and everything. Brothers are given their independence, but they are told that you cannot be in the kingdom, you have to go to the forest. So they go for their Vanavas for 13 years. They have to be in the forest. During that time, there is a particular phase in which Arjuna, he goes away for some time. He goes and he has a duel with Shiva, Lord Shiva, and then he goes to Indraloka, Swargaloka. He has an interaction with people in Swargaloka, etc. So for some time he's not with them, and during the time, so a certain duration has passed, and then the remaining Pandavas who are here and their mother and their wife, they become anxious. Where have they gone? So at that point of time, they start searching for him. So suddenly one day, when they are resting, the wind carries a flower. The flower suddenly comes from somewhere, it's carried by the wind, and it falls in front of Draupadi. So Draupadi picks it up. It's a beautiful flower and it smells very nice. It's got a nice fragrance. So she shows it to her husbands who are with her, and she wants to gift it to Yudhishthira, and she develops a desire to have many more flowers of the same flower, many more of the same flower. So she tells her husband Bhima, because Bhima is known to be the strongest among them physically, right? So she tells him that, can you please bring some more for me? It's come from somewhere, I don't know from where it has come, but can you get me some more of these? So immediately Bhima, because there is so much love that he has for Draupadi, for his wife, so he's willing to do anything for her. Okay, if we recollect during the time when Draupadi was insulted after the gambling match, among the Pandavas, it is Bhima who gets the angriest, right? Of course, all of them love Draupadi very deeply. They are all, there's a very intimate bond between all of them. They are all intimate brothers. They take care of her with a lot of love. And the understanding between them, sometimes we wonder, how is it possible that one woman can live with 5 husbands, even if they are brothers? How is it practically possible? But the bond between them and the understanding between them is so good that they decide that we will treat, 1 year, each of us will think of ourselves as the husband of Draupadi. And all the other 4 will think of her just like she's husband's wife, brother's wife. That's all. So by turn, they're able to mentally make their adjustment that only for 1 year out of 5 years, each of them thinks that she's my wife. Draupadi thinks that he's my husband. But of course, all the 5 of them are her husband. And this understanding is so beautifully demonstrated in the Mahabharata, how they live together with so much bonding. So now when Draupadi asks Bhima that, please bring me this flower, Bhima immediately gets up and says, I'll find out where it has come from and I'll get you many more of these flowers. So he starts going. And there at that point of time, somewhere in Uttarakhand, at a place called the Gandhamadana mountain, the Gandhamadana Parvat. Okay, today there is a hill by the same name in Rameshwaram. But this Gandhamadana Parvat is not that one. It is somehow believed that that is the place where the Pandavas went. But if you see the description in the Mahabharata, in the original Mahabharata, in the Vana Parva, this is described to be around the place where Badrik Ashram, or today's Badrinath, is located, and the Naranarayana Ashram. So behind Badrinath, there are two mountains called Naranarayana. They refer to the particular avatar of Vishnu called Naranarayana. So this happens there. This incident is happening there. So Bhima walks up the Gandhamadana Parvat. The Gandhamadana Parvat is considered to be a route to Swargaloka for the yogis. They climb that, and beyond a certain point, they become eligible to elevate their consciousness to what is required to enter Swargaloka. So he's walking up that path and looking for where this flower might be available. And it is said to be very beautiful. That path that he took is filled with all sorts of flowering plants and trees and animals of different types. There are incidents along that journey which Bhima takes where certain animals come to attack him, elephants, tigers, lions, etc. But he, being very strong and very brave, he's not scared of anything. So he's able to easily thwart them, push them aside. So he goes on his path unafraid, and all he wants is to find the place where these flowers are available. So as he is walking along, after some time, he has reached a fairly high altitude on that mountain. And on the path, he finds a monkey, which is just lying on the path there, a Vanara. And that monkey is lying in a very lazy manner. Its hands behind its head. It's lying on a rock. And the path, it falls, or the tail of the monkey falls on the path. So if Bhima has to go forward now, the monkey has to move. So Bhima goes and stands next to that monkey, and he makes loud sounds. You see, all the while, because he's such a powerful person, and he's a Kshatriya, he's a warrior, as he is walking up the mountain, it's described that he was making loud roaring sounds, like a big elephant or a big lion makes roaring sounds. And as he was making those sounds, the animals in the forest, they were scampering away. Even big animals like elephants, they would not come near him, hearing those sounds. They would think some strange creature, very powerful creature is walking through. Let's keep quiet, let it go. So now he finds this Vanara lying on the path. So he goes next to it and he stands there and he makes those loud sounds, hoping that it'll also go away. But this Vanara doesn't go away, just lies there. It's supposed to be supposedly sleeping. So he continues to make the sounds, and finally that Vanara opens its eyes a little bit and it says, "Who are you? Why are you disturbing me? I'm just quietly sleeping here, and this is such a peaceful place, and this is the way to Swargaloka. And who are you? Why have you come here? You obviously, you are not a very careful person, because people who have some conscience, they don't disturb others. I'm sleeping here peacefully, and you simply come and make this sound and just wake me up like that. What business do you have here? Who are you?" Okay, this monkey sort of chastises him, scolds him. So then Bhima immediately becomes a little alert. It's not just some monkey, it is something, some creature which has taken the shape of a monkey, and it's speaking some logic also, right? It can't be just some monkey from the tree lying there. So immediately he becomes alert and he says, "Look, actually, I am a Kshatriya. My name is Bhimasena. I belong to the Pandavas. I'm one of the 5 Pandava brothers. I belong to this dynasty. My mother's name is Kunti, and I'm the son of Vayu, the wind god Vayu." So basically, he wants to tell the monkey that, "Look, I'm not an ordinary guy. I'm some person. So now let me go. I just want to go up. Just let me go." And he also says, "Look, I'm not only the son of Vayu and the son of Kunti, but I'm also the brother of Hanuman. He was also the son of Vayu, so he's my elder brother. So now just let me go. Don't stop my way." So the monkey replies, "Okay, that doesn't mean much to me. You're just a manushya. You're a human being. right? There are different types of species, Manushya, Devata, Gandharvas. So you are just a human Manushya, and this path is not for Manushya anymore. Up till here, it's fine. But beyond this, this is a place where the Apsaras come, the Devatas come sometimes, and they perform their activities here, and they won't like you. If you go there, they won't like it. So don't go anymore. You may get into trouble. Don't go forward. So Bhima gets annoyed because he is not used to people telling him, don't go here, don't go there. He's a powerful person and people are scared of him everywhere. And just now, as he was walking along, the animals were running away, and this little monkey is now giving him advice. Don't go forward. So he tells the monkey that, look, I was not looking for any mentoring from you. Just move aside. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. Please go from here. But the monkey says, okay, if you have to do that, I don't mind, but, I'm not feeling well. I'm lying down, I'm tired. Just jump over me and go away. That's all. It's just my tail. You're such a powerful guy. Then Bhima replies, he says, look, I would have done that. I'm capable of jumping across a big mountain. But I don't want to do that because you are a living being like me, and every living being, Bhagavan is present inside. And I know that. I can see Bhagavan in every being. So I don't want to do such a crude activity, something so uncouth, jumping over somebody and going. Just move your tail and I'll go. Why are you acting so defiant? In fact, I'm so powerful. I'm the brother of Hanuman. I can jump over anything. I can jump over half this universe. So then the monkey says, we've been talking about Hanuman. Who is this guy, Hanuman? So then Bhima very proudly tells him, look, Hanuman, my elder brother, is one of the most powerful people in this universe. And he narrates the incidents of Hanuman in the Ramayana, what Hanuman did, how Hanuman came to Rama's help when Rama was looking for his wife, and how Hanuman single-handedly crossed over to Lanka. Right? Bhima knows all that. Okay, this is in the Mahabharata. So during the time of Mahabharata, all this was known. Ramayana was written earlier to Mahabharata. So Vyasadeva writes this, how the interaction between Bhima is narrating to this little monkey about his brother. He's very proud of his elder brother. He has not met him. He's never met him, but he has heard about him from so many people. And he's so happy that such a person is his own elder brother, right? So much love he feels. So he says, look, my brother did all these things. And he single-handedly went to Lanka. He spoke to Mother Sita. He burned down the whole of Lanka and then facilitated Rama to go there and bring Sita back. So this is my dynasty. I belong to this kind of heritage. So then the monkey says, okay, that's nice. All right, I will let you go, but do like this. I'm too weak to get up now from here. You just lift my tail and go. I'll give you permission. I won't feel offended. You just lift my tail, move it aside and go. I'll continue to lie here. So finally, Bhima is okay. He says, okay, I'll do that. So he bends down and he holds the tail and he lifts it like this. It doesn't budge. The tail doesn't budge. So he thinks maybe it's stuck somewhere. So he pulls harder and harder and harder and harder. And then he finds that putting all his might, the entire might that he has, the tail is not moving even a slight bit. So then he realizes that this monkey is not some ordinary monkey. So immediately he goes and he bows down to the monkey. He says, now I know that you are not an ordinary person and you are speaking to me like that. Please reveal to me. Are you a Gandharva? Are you a Devata? Are you come from Swargaloka? Are you somebody from Brahmaloka? Who are you? Please tell me. And please forgive me for whatever I spoke to you. I know that you are not an ordinary guy and you were just playing with me. So then the monkey stands up and it says, look, my name is Hanuman. And I've come here because I wanted to see you. And I also want to give you some advice. I wanted to see you and I want to meet you. And knowing that Bhima, his hair starts standing on the end, he becomes excited. I'm finally meeting my own brother, whom I wanted to meet all these years. I've only known about him. I've only heard about him. So much I adore him. And just now I'm talking about him and it turns out to be that same person, Hanuman here. So he's excited. And he tells Hanuman that I've heard so much about you, and I've always wanted to learn from you the kind of values, the knowledge about dharma that you have. And, there's one thing that I want to really get from you. So Hanuman says, what is that? Says, look, when you went to Lanka to cross that ocean, you assumed a form, a mighty form. I've heard about it. It is supposed to be so huge. With that form, you could take a leap. In a single leap, you could go from this place, Rameshwaram, to Lanka, right? From India to Lanka. So can you show me that form which you took at that time? It's the same form that Hanuman took when he actually attacked the Asuras in Lanka. You see, what happens is in Ramayana, when Hanuman goes over to Lanka, then he again comes back to his small form and he jumps across. He's searching for Mother Sita, and eventually he finds her in the Ashokavan. So he finds her and she's sitting under a tree. So he goes to the top of the tree, taking a very small monkey-like form, and he finally connects with her. And after that conversation between him and Mother Sita, uh, we know all that. So at the end of that, Hanuman says, I won't go back just like this. I should see Ravana and tell him that he is messing around and he's creating trouble for himself and he shouldn't be doing this. I should caution him, and probably I can save, a trip for Rama to come here. So let me meet him. So how do I meet Ravana? How can I enter the palace of Ravana? I can't just go there like that. So he thinks of a plan. And he says, the best way to do it is, let me create some havoc here, and then let me allow myself to get caught by them. Then they will take me to Ravana. At that time, I'll see him. So he then starts destroying everything there. At that point of time, he takes that same form, that huge, gigantic form, and starts breaking everything. And the Rakshasas, the Asuras come, and they hear that, and he starts creating a massacre there. He massacres them, right? The live terrorism. He just terrorizes the Asuras there, and then he gets caught. So the same form that he took, now Bhima wants to see that form. So he pleads with Hanuman that this is something that I have been aspiring for. Please show me that form. Then to that Hanuman replies that, see, my brother, that's a form that is not available in this yuga. This is the Dwapar Yuga. Dwapar Yuga is going on. And in this yuga, that form cannot be seen. That is in the Treta Yuga. And that form I took at that time. And it's not visible to ordinary people like you. You're now born as a Manushya here. You can't see it. I'm sorry. But Bhima is not willing to take that for an answer. So he says that, no, unless you show me that form, I will not leave from here. You do whatever you want, but I can't leave from here. I have to see that form because I have been craving for it for all these years. So please show me that form. So between that, there is a discussion. They have a discussion on dharma. It's a very interesting thing. If you want to know the details, I will share them with you. I have the original shlokas of Mahabharata, in which Hanuman explains some of the aspects of dharma to Bhima. And he also talks about how the 4 yugas, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga, how dharma changes, how Sri Bhagavan comes in different forms in the different yugas, different colors, etc. So when this conversation ends, Bhima is still waiting for that form. And then Hanuman says, okay. He gives up. Hanuman says, okay, I will show you that form. And he then assumes that form. It's a huge, massive, gigantic Vishwarupa of Hanuman. It's absolutely huge. And he's roaring. His eyes are, breathing fire. Fire is coming out of his eyes. His mouth, his canines are visible. He's extremely angry. That anger, that form in which he's going from here to Lanka. He wants to tell Ravana that, we mean business with you. So he wants to go there. He wants to find Mother Sita. So with that aggression, all that aggression in him, he displays in that form in front of Bhima. And Bhima is not able to believe that he can, his Hanuman is like that. Hanuman can be like that. So he sees that form, and he's completely in a daze when he sees that. And finally, after that, Hanuman comes back to his normal form, and they have a very loving exchange. They embrace each other. Hanuman gives him even more principles on dharma and so on. And finally, when at the end of it, Hanuman again tells him that, no, don't go forward from here. Because what can happen to you when you go forward? I know you are capable of going forward, but you may end up getting cursed by them. The devatas are there. They don't like it when somebody like you comes there. Instead, you're looking for that flower. I'll show you where you can find that flower. Go along this path. He shows him a path. And Before he goes, he tells him that you tell me what you want. I know that you are a sincere follower of Dharma, you and your brothers, your mother, your wife. What do you people really want? I will do it immediately for you. If you want me to, finish off all the Kauravas in one shot, I know you can also do that. But if you want me to do it, I will do it for you. If you want me to tie up Duryodhana, catch him, tie him up and bring him to you, I will do that for you. I am at your service. Please tell me what you want. Then Bhima doesn't ask for anything. You see, his mind is that he is supposed to do that. He is supposed to do all that. So he doesn't ask him for anything. He just, takes his, I just want your blessings, brother. I just want your blessings. So then Hanuman promises him. He says that, look, there will be a war after your Vanavas is over. And during that war, I will be with you. When you are roaring in the war, the warriors roar as they fight. They make roaring sounds. They shout. They make roaring sounds, just like sportsmen. You see, war and sports are very similar. So they make roaring sounds. And when you are roaring, I will be roaring with you. My voice will be with you. I'll be watching. I'll be there, present in the battlefield, and I'll also be roaring with you. Not only that, I'll be physically present on the flag of Arjuna's chariot. He says this in the Mahabharata. He promises him. So on Arjuna's chariot, so we know about Arjuna's chariot in the Bhagavad-Gita, in the picture of Bhagavad-Gita. You see Krishna and Arjuna there, right? Arjuna is sitting down, Krishna is talking to him. Now, next time you see it, please see the flag there. On the flag, you'll see a picture of Hanuman. So Hanuman is present there, and he says that I will be present with you, and I'll ensure that all my strength is with you when you fight the war. So the Pandavas, although they were completely outnumbered, because their story, Pandava's story, is a story of 5 brothers, 5 saintly brothers, 5 saintly kings against 100 rogues, 100 gundas on one side and 5 saintly people on one side. So is it a match? Obviously, in terms of physical power, it is no match, right? But in terms of what they had some factors, missing factors. Just like in your PhD study, you will talk about, are all the factors accounted for? So if you just look at 5 brothers and 100 brothers on 2 sides, all the factors are not accounted for, because there were 2 important factors they missed out, at least one important factor. Most important factor was the presence of Krishna. And Krishna was on the side of the Pandavas. And because Krishna was on their side, they had nothing to worry. Even though they were completely outnumbered, Krishna's presence made all the difference. In addition to that, of course, Hanuman was with them. Hanuman is a Krishna Bhakta or Rama Bhakta. Krishna and Rama are the same person. So Hanuman's presence on their side added to that. And they had nothing to worry about what they were doing. So that is the implication. The whole Mahabharata is about dharma. And it says that as long as we follow dharma, there's a famous shloka, dharmo rakshati rakshitah. Right? Have you heard this shloka before? It says, I will tell you the full shloka. So it ends with dharmo rakshati rakshitah. Tasmat dharmo na hantavyo mano dharmo hato vadit. Dharma heva hato hanti. Dharma eva hato hanti. Dharmo rakshati rakshitah. That dharma which we kill will kill us. If we destroy dharma, it will destroy us. And dharmo rakshati rakshitah. That dharma which we protect protects us. When we protect dharma, it protects us. So regardless of all the other external factors, if we have one factor called following of dharma, if we abide by dharma, live a dharmic life, nothing else matters. We will have that protection. Mano dharmo hato vadit. It says, tasmat dharmo na hantavyo. Therefore, do not tamper or do not mess with dharma. Do not destroy dharma. Because let not dharma become your destructor. That's how it ends. Right? So the Pandavas are an example of how dharma was perfectly followed. And the Kauravas was an example of how dharma was not followed at all. The Mahabharata includes the Bhagavad-Gita. That is why there is a very close connection. When we talk about dharma, Bhagavad-Gita, Mahabharata, they are together. Right? So the Bhagavad-Gita is a book of dharma, and Shri Bhagavan says in the Bhagavad-Gita, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam shajamiham. Whenever dharma declines and adharma increases, at that time I personally appear. So Shri Bhagavan is now giving the Bhagavad Gita to his very intimate disciple, who is also the brother of Bhima. Right? So Bhima, Arjuna, very intimate brothers. And the Bhagavad Gita is given to Arjuna. In the Bhagavad-gita, we are in the 9th chapter. And in the last 2 sessions, we have covered these shlokas. Bhagavan begins the 9th chapter, Idantu te guhyatamam pravakshyamyanasuyave, because you are not having envy, dvesha, you don't have hatred towards anybody, any living being in your heart. You're free from that. You are qualified to hear this knowledge. Guhyatamam, the most secretive knowledge, which I'm going to give in the 9th chapter. Jnanam Vijnana Sahitam. Jnanam, very basic knowledge, along with experiential knowledge about how the practice of bhakti is to experience. I will give you that. Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartum Avyayam. So this is the king of all knowledge and the king of all secrets. And it is the most pure thing. Pavitram Idam Uttamam. And it's Pratyakshaavagamam, means it is known by experience. It is not merely theoretical. It's not merely conceptual. You will actually experience it if you practice this. It is the basis for all dharma. It is dharmya. And susukam kartum avyayam. It leads to extreme happiness, never-ending happiness. Ashraddhadhana purushaha dharmasyasya parantapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani. However, there's one little condition. Like with anything in life, you will be able to acquire this knowledge and experience that sweetness, happiness, only if you have shraddha or conviction. Anything requires conviction, right? If you go to the gym and you're doing exercises, you look forward to getting something good out of it, something beneficial out of it. If you didn't have that conviction, you would not do all that. You would not put in that effort. So shraddha does not mean blind, irrational faith. That's a wrong way of translating the word shraddha. Shraddha refers to the basic, very basic conviction with which we take up anything in life, right? And so that shraddha is required for bhakti as well, for the path of bhakti as well. Bhakti begins with shraddha. So naturally, he says, if you don't have that shraddha of what I'm saying, because he can feel that Arjuna is going on asking question after question. If you see Arjuna's position, although Arjuna and Krishna are very intimate associates, they're eternal associates, eternally tied to each other. At the same time, in the Gita, Arjuna has been put in the position of a samanya vyakti, a normal person of this material universe, right? He is not, as he is listening to Bhagavad Gita, he is not in the state of his intimate associateship with Krishna. He does not recollect those things. He thinks like a normal person. So he does not immediately accept whatever Krishna says. If he had accepted whatever Krishna said, then the Bhagavad Gita won't be there. Because right in the beginning of the Gita itself, what did Krishna want from Arjuna? He wanted him to fight, right? Right in the first chapter, when Arjuna says, I don't want to fight this yuddha. Second chapter begins with Krishna speaking. And Krishna says, what is this in you? I can't see this weakness in you. You're behaving not like a Kshatriya. That nobility of a Kshatriya is not visible in you at all. You're behaving very uncharacteristically. So just get up and fight. Stop this. Give up this weakness. So if Arjuna was already in that state where he would accept whatever Krishna says, then he would have just got up and fought. He would have said, yes, maybe I'm feeling weak and this is not appropriate for me. Krishna doesn't like it. I will just get up and fight. But no, he opposes Krishna. In the second chapter, beginning after Krishna speaks 2 shlokas, the next 6 or 7 shlokas, Arjuna speaks and says, no, Krishna, I won't fight. He gives logic. He says that, look, my guru is here. How can I kill my guru? My grandfather Bhima is here. Bhishma is here. How can I kill him? After killing him, do you think I'll be able to live a happy life? How can I live? I'll be eating the food which is tainted by their blood. I can't live like this. So I'm not going to fight. Whatever you say, I'm not going to fight. In between, he says, I'm your Shishya. But what does the word Shishya mean? Shishya means whatever the Guru says, he should follow, right? So that word Shishya Arjuna uses really doesn't have a meaning there. He's not a Shishya. But he uses that word out of emotion. He's confused. A confused man is speaking. In between is, I am your Shishya. Then he says, I won't fight. He knows Guru wants him to fight, but I won't fight. Okay, whatever it is. Arjuna is in that state and Arjuna is asking question after question. So he hasn't developed the Shraddha that's required to follow what the Guru is saying. When you take a Guru, when you say you are Shishya of somebody, when the Guru says something, then you don't ask any further questions. You may only ask for some clarification. Guru Maharaj, how you said I should do this, but how should I do it? Can you just guide me? You may ask for some guidance, but you will not say, I won't do what you say. Right? Guru means you follow whatever the Guru says. So here, Arjuna has not yet developed that Shraddha. So Krishna is trying to help him, giving him the Shraddha that, look, I'm not just your Guru, I am Bhagavan himself. Initially, he tried by talking about the Atma, Deha, duty, Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga did not work. Now, Bhakti, I'm revealing to you about myself. I'm not just an ordinary Guru. I'm not just some Guru, but I'm Bhagavan speaking. I'm Bhagavan appearing to you as your Guru directly. So he says, Ashraddha Dhana. Now at least please develop some Shraddha. So only with that Shraddha, you can benefit from what I am saying. If you don't have that Shraddha, you will not get any benefit. So then he reveals more about himself. He says in the fourth shloka, Maya tatamidam sarvam, Maya tatamidam sarvam, Jagadavyakta murtina, Matsthani sarva bhutani, Nachaham te shvavasthitaha. Says, by me, everything in this universe, idam sarvam jagat, idam sarvam jagat, this entire universe, tatam in Sanskrit means pervaded. Pervaded. Everything in this universe is pervaded. And how? Avyakta murtina. Avyakta murtina means by my form. Murti means my form, which is unmanifest, which is not manifest. Okay. Right now I'm standing before you as Krishna, my two-handed form, and you are seeing me. This is my manifest form. But there is an unmanifest form also. And that is pervading this entire universe. Matsthani sarva bhutani. Matsthani means in me, situated in me. Sarva bhutani, all the living beings are situated inside me. Nacha aham teshu avasthitaha, but I am not situated in them. This entire universe is pervaded by me in my manifest form. All beings are situated in me, but I am not situated in them. Nacha matsthani bhutani pashyame yogam aishwaram, bhuta bhrinnacha bhutatso mamatma bhuta bhavanaha. So having said that all living beings are situated in me, in the very next shloka he says, Nacha matsthani bhutani. No, the living beings are not situated in me. Exact opposite of what he said in the last shloka, second line. In the first line of the next shloka, he says, no, they are not situated in me. Pashyame yogam aishwaram. See, Pashya means see. See my yogam aishwaram. Aishwaram means Ishwarasya bhavaha. Ishwarasya bhavaha, aishwaram. Okay. Ishwaraha means master, the supreme person. Ishvara, supreme person. Aishwaram means the property or the ness. When we add a ness to something, right? Bhagavan ness. So Aishwaram, the property of being Ishvara. See that supreme property in me. Yogam Aishwaram. This property, this nature of mine, being the supreme person. See this. And as the Ishvara, I have this property that I can be situated in everything and not be situated in everything. Everything is situated inside me. Nothing is situated inside me. Contradiction is all reconciled within me. Okay, this is the property of Ishvara. Bhuta Brit Nacha Bhutastaha. Bhuta Brit means one who supports everything. Brit word is added to say supporting. The supporter of everything. Supporter or bearer of everything. Nacha Bhutastaha. I am not situated in anything, but I am supporting everything. Mamatma Bhuta Bhavanaha. I am the well-wisher of every living being. At the same time, the living beings are not situated in me. See my divine supernatural personality. I bear and sustain all living beings, but I am not situated in them. Yathakasha sthito nityam vayu sarvatra go mahan, tatha sarvani bhutani matsthani iti upadharaya. So how do you reconcile the contradiction? On the one hand, you are saying that you are situated in everything, everything is inside you. And immediately after that, you are saying that nothing is situated in you, that you are not in them. So how do I make sense of this? So he says very simple, just like this analogy of the wind in space. Okay. Yatha akasha sthitaha nityam vayuhu. Vayuhu means the wind, the air. Akasha sthitaha. Akasha means the space. Space is called akasha. So wind is situated in space, but at the same time, sarvatra go mahan. The wind is mahan. It's enormous. It's huge. It's vibhu. But it's going everywhere. It's moving freely everywhere. It's situated in space, But although it is in space, it is not tied to anything. It is not bound. It is not restricted. For example, the wind in this room also moves outside when it wants to. We cannot control it. We cannot prevent the air in this room to go out of the corridor. We cannot do anything, right? Wind is freely moving. So wind can move anywhere. So wind is situated in space, and at the same time, because it is not tied or bound to space, it is also free to move everywhere, and therefore the wind is not situated in space. This is how we reconcile. In the case of Bhagavan, tatha sarvani bhutani, this analogy is used not for us to understand the relation between wind and space, but to understand the relationship between Bhagavan and all the living beings and this entire universe. That even though Bhagavan is present in everything and everything is present inside him, he is completely detached from them. He has no attachment, asakti to anything. He is asanga. He has no sangha with anything. He is completely detached from everything. Tatha sarvani bhutani matsthani iti upadharaya. In the same way, everything is situated in me. You must understand that all living beings are situated in me in the same way that the enormous air which moves everywhere is situated in space. Sarva bhutani kaunteya prakritim yanti mamikam kalpakshaye punastani kalpadau visrijamyaham. So now he again goes back to a point that was made in the 8th chapter. In the 8th chapter, if you recollect, we heard about how at the end of the day of Brahma, all living beings go into the body of Brahma, right? They become unmanifest. They go into Sushupti. And again, at the beginning of the next Kalpa of Brahma, they are created. This secondary creation, the next creation happens. So he's saying that actually now he's doing it. That was not revealed in the 8th chapter. And in the 9th chapter, he's just saying the same thing. But now he says, it is because my Prakriti is doing it. It is not just happening by itself, but I am the one who is doing it. Sarva bhutani kaunteya, all the living beings, O kaunteya, mamikam prakritim yanti, my Prakriti. Okay, Prakriti refers to, Prakriti by default is referring to nature. Prakriti means nature, but here Prakriti refers to that original form of material nature. When the material creation starts, according to the Vedantic understanding, the first thing that happens is the manifestation of what is called as Prakriti. That thing is called Prakriti, that energy, that it's a very, very subtle thing, something very subtle, not at all gross. We cannot feel it, we cannot see it, right? So from that Prakriti, it evolves to something called as Mahat Tattva. And from Mahat Tattva, slowly different other material elements emerge, which are called as Manaha, Buddhi, Ahankara. Ahankara comes first, then Buddhi, then Manaha. Then the different Indriyani, the Pancha Indriyani, and so on. So from very subtle form of matter, the most subtle form of matter is called Prakriti. And from that subtle form of matter, more grosser forms, gross forms emerge. Grosser and grosser forms emerge from the subtle forms. So eventually, the material body that we have, the Stula Shariram, the Indriyam that we talk about, the 5 senses, the Panchendriyam, they are more subtle than the gross body. They cannot be seen. They reside in a subtle manner. For example, Chakshurindriyam. You say Chakshurindriyam is the sense of sight. Chakshurindriyam does not refer to the eye, the eyeball. Right? When we say eye, we refer to the eyeball and the socket. But Chakshurindriyam, Chakshu loosely, yes, we refer to the eye. But Chakshu as Indriyam, Chakshurindriyam refers to the sense, which is also a material thing, but very subtle. It doesn't have a tangible, it cannot be touched, it cannot be felt. Like the eye can be touched, but the Chakshurindriyam cannot be touched. Similarly, Twagindriyam, Twag refers to touch, the sense of touch. Now, sense of touch is available all through the body. So Twagindriyam is present throughout this gross body, but it's subtle. So Twagindriyam cannot be touched. Likewise, the other Indriyas also, like Granendriyam, the sense of smell, Shravanendriyam, the sense of hearing, Rasanendriyam, the sense of tasting, all these Indriyas. So these Indriyas come last. And then after that, the elements come, Prithvi, Jalam, Vayu, Tejaha. So all these things emerge. So, so where are we? Yeah, Prakritim Yanti. So at the end of the day of Brahma, all these the gross manifestation that we feel, our bodies, the gross matter that we see around us, everything dissolves. At the end of the day of Brahma, when Brahma goes from his state of being awake to the state of sleep, he goes into Sushupti, his Sushupti, which is a form of Yoga Nidra. So in that form, the living beings go into Sushupti and everything dissolves, all the material creation dissolves completely and becomes Prakriti. Usme leen ho jata hai, it merges, dissolves into that. So then what happens? Punastani kalpado visrajamiham. At the beginning of the next day of Brahma, I again initiate the next creation. I initiate the next creation. So in the 8th chapter, Sri Bhagavan, when he said the same thing, he did not link it to his action or his involvement. But now he reveals that he is the force behind that. Oh Kaunteya, at the end of Brahma's day, all living beings enter my material energy Prakriti, and at the start of Brahma's day, I manifest them again. Prakritim swam avashtabhya visrijami punah punah bhutagramam imam kritsnam avasham prakriter vashat. So how does he create? He explains the creation on the next day. He says that when the creation has to happen, then I take into account the respective natures of those living beings, which have to now take birth again. Okay, all the Jivatmas are residing now in that unmanifest state. Now they have to become manifest. They have to get material bodies and they have to begin their next set of activities in different lifetimes. So what is the starting point? The starting point is based on the end point of the previous day. And the end point of the previous day is a cumulative result of all the actions they have done, all the karma that they have done in the past, their past karma. That gives them what is called as their swabhav, their nature, their prakriti. Prakriti here, the word refers to their natures, which is also called swabhav. According to that, they are given that birth. Depending on the swabhav, we take this body, right? So prakritim swam avashtabhya, situated in their respective natures, visrajami, I create punah punah, again and again I create them. Bhutagramam imam kritsnam, this entire set of living beings, all the countless living beings you see in the universe, I bring them into creation. Prakriter vashat. Prakritehe vashat, by the arrangement of Prakriti. I manifest this cosmos of living beings situated in their respective material natures in accordance with those natures. Nachamam tani karmani nibhadnanti dhananjaya udasina vadasinam asaktam teshu karmasu. So now the question comes that just like when we do some action, we get karma, papa and punya, right? Anything we do will result in one of the two, either papa or punya. So this is how this material existence is designed. Are you getting my audio at the back? So the question comes that if everything in this material universe, every living being has papa and punya, especially when somebody is making conscious decisions, then you will also be getting that, right? You will also get papa or punya. So what do you get when you are creating all this? Are you getting papa or punya, or what is it? So he says, I will get neither papa nor punya. Nachamam tani karmani nibhadnanti. Those actions which I do not bind me at all. Why? Because udasina vadasinam asaktam teshu karmash. I am situated like a neutral person. I am neutral. Udasinavat means neutral, like a judge. A judge is supposed to be a neutral person, right? In a case, he's supposed to take a neutral stand, not be biased towards any party. He's not trying to favor anyone. He neutrally, based on the law and based on the arguments of the lawyers and everything, he makes a decision. And he makes a decision, he's supposed to be without any emotion towards anything. He should not feel happy or sad that some outcome came. He should just say, this is my duty and I did it, right? A good judge does like that. So Sri Bhagavan is playing that role, right? So sometimes people ask this question that, there's an argument also, arguments against the existence of God in Western philosophy. So arguments in favor of God, there are some arguments in favor of God, why God exists. There are proof for God. And there's also argument against the existence of God. And the atheists and the rationalists, they give these arguments. So one of the arguments is that if God existed, because you already have defined God as a very kind and loving person. So if God is kind and loving, and if God is all-powerful, then there would be no suffering in this world, right? But we see suffering in this world. There would also be no inequalities in this world. Everybody would be equal. You don't see one person very rich, one person very poor, one person very happy, one person very miserable. So clearly, there is randomness in this world. There's no order. If God was there, there would be order in this world. But there's no order. There's a lot of chaos. Everywhere there is chaos. People are killing each other. Therefore, there is no God. Right? This argument is given. But the point is this, that we don't say there is no judge. Right? There are prisoners in the prison. Some people are being executed. Some people are being made to lift heavy stones. The same judge is also giving somebody a benefit because of the case. That person got some big property and some big compensation. So do you now say there is no judge? It randomly happened. We don't, right? So in the same way, there is a law in this universe. There's a conscious being. There's no randomness. There's a conscious being and there are conscious phenomena happening here. There's a system set up by him. And everything is very well accounted for. That's what the Gita tells us. Now, why is it that some people get the reactions of what they do? Why do some people get punya and papa and some people don't? Bhagavan says, I don't get any punya or papa. Punya and papa don't touch me. Why is that? Simple principle of anasakti. Anasakti is the basis for yoga. In the beginning, very beginning, right in the beginning, Sri Bhagavan introduces this when he talks about karma yoga. But it's applicable not only to karma yoga, it's applicable to all forms of yoga, whether you do karma yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga, whichever form, anasakti, detachment. We spoke about it last time also, and it's something that we will speak in every class. It's very essential. Detachment from this universe. Now, it manifests in various ways. One is the detachment from being possessive. The other is the detachment from the hankering that we have for the fruits of our actions. Right? So, Shri Bhagavan is detached. He's detached from everything. He's detached from the fruits of his actions. The outcomes of what will happen do not determine whether he will be happy or sad. His happiness and sadness, or happiness and misery, or whatever, does not depend upon whether something works out the way it is meant to work out or doesn't work out that way. He does his duty out of a sense of duty. And that is the basis for anasakti. So because Sri Bhagavan has anasakti in him by default, he does not experience either punya or papa. And that is the lesson for us too. How do we go beyond punya and papa? That is the basis. Oh Dhananjaya, those actions do not bind me, since I am situated like one who is neutral to the living beings and have no interest in those actions. Okay, I'm using interest in the sense of bias, in that sense. Mayadhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. So now he sums up these shlokas, the seventh shloka of the 7 shlokas. He says that all this happens without my touching it. I don't touch anything. I only desire. Shri Bhagavan desires that let this happen, and his prakriti executes it. His prakriti is the executioner. Okay, just like the judge passes an order, and then there are people to execute the order. The judge doesn't go and actually perform the action. The actions are performed by the police or other people who are involved in it. So Maya Adhyakshena, I am the Adhyaksha, I am the director, I am the in charge. Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti, this Prakriti reports to me. Suyate Sacharacharam, she makes this, she brings into creation the moving and the non-moving entities. Chara, Achara. Hetuna Anayana Kaunteya Jagat Viparivartate. Because of this, the entire universe transforms. You see all the transformations happening in this universe. And so you should realize that I don't do anything at all. Nothing happens by my lifting something and making it happen. It's my sattva, my strength, by which, just by my desiring, just by my desire, my Prakriti just carries it out. My Prakriti knows what I want and she just executes it. Okay, that is the power that I have. Under my supervision, my material energy Prakriti manifests the living beings, both moving and non-moving. Owing to this, O Kaunteya, the entire universe transforms. So this is Jnanam, and this is what Sri Bhagavan said in the beginning, Idam tute guhyatamam pravakshyami anusuyave. This is the most secretive knowledge, because now he is speaking about something which requires our Shraddha to accept. Okay, he's not speaking about something which is away from him. He's speaking about himself. He's revealing to us about his own nature, how he is, and how we should accept him, how we should understand him. So if we are able to understand and accept Sri Bhagavan like this, then we are prepared for the next set of things that he will say. He will go on to talk about the performance of bhakti. And that is where he talks about the intimate aspects of bhakti. We will come to that as we move forward in the 9th chapter. So initially he talks about these more distant aspects, more, you can say, impersonal aspects about himself, where he talks about his prakriti, about his being the supervisor, the you can say the boss, the person who directs everything, the director, and so on. Slowly he will come to more personal things, and then we know about the core aspects of bhakti as it goes forward. So for today, I will stop with this much, and I'll be happy to take your questions and any comments that you may have. So in summary, today's class was about Sri Bhagavan's nature, his supremacy, his presence, his all-pervasive presence in everything. Everywhere Bhagavan is present. There's nothing without Bhagavan in it. And at the same time, his complete detachment from it. So the inspiration for us is to know that we are always connected to him. And we have to, when we acknowledge that, we feel that connection. And at the same time, to develop detachment. With this knowledge that Bhagavan himself is detached, we should be also inspired to develop detachment. As we connect with him, we develop detachment from this universe.
There's only this one doubt, we speak about the all-pervasive nature of Sri Bhagwan, and then we talk about how he's non-detached to the fruits of the actions. But then we also see several instances, like we've discussed in the past few classes with these stories that you've recited from the Bhagavatam, that he showers love upon the people who he connects with. So isn't that also some form of attachment in some way, form or the other?
Whether Bhagavan's love towards all the living beings is a form of attachment, is Bhagavan's attachment?
Yeah, because, to his bhaktas, even that is some sort of attachment, right?
Very much, yes. So like we said in the last class, detachment of any kind has to be accompanied by attachment of some other kind. So Bhagavan's detachment from this universe very much there, and it's also along with the attachment to the other living beings who are his bhaktas. Yes, attachment to the bhaktas is very much there.
So you're saying attachment to the bhaktas is more supreme than the attachment to the universe, or the things that are there in the universe?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Attachment to the bhaktas is controlled by his antaranga shakti. Yeah, internal energy, correct.
I see. Okay.
This his affairs with the universe are controlled by what is called as bahiranga shakti, or his external energy, external potencies.
I see.
Definitely his bondage with the bhaktas is of a superior nature, where he is able to reveal his personal aspects, which are not revealed in the Bhagavad-gita. His personal emotions, his personal feelings are revealed to those who become very intimate with him, right? And that's not difficult to understand also, right? When we reveal things to people who are more intimate to us than to people with whom we just have a formal relationship, isn't it?
Right. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you so much.
with this universe, he has a very formal relationship, a formal detached relationship. Yes. But he's a well-wisher. We should also keep in mind that why does he have that relationship at all? Because he wishes well. He wants happiness for all living beings, even those who are not his bhaktas.
Right.
Right?
And then again, when we speak about, let's say, the superiority of, let's say, attachments, so perhaps above bhakti, as we've discussed earlier, would be something like prema, the pure love that we've spoken about.
Yes.
I see.
That is the highest. Prema is the highest, achievement. The highest thing in existence is that prema, Bhagavan's prema.
But then, how do we describe that prema? Like, is there like any, like, we understand bhakti in terms of many examples and things like that. What relationship or what is prema basically?
Prema is an energy which is not present in the Baddha Jivas. It is not present in the Jivatma, in the samsara, in material existence. Okay, it's the internal potency, the antaranga Shakti, which manifests as Lakshmi, Radha, etc. And that Shakti, when it comes to the Jivatma, by virtue of his sadhana and by the kripa of a bhakta, if that prema comes to the Jivatma, then the Jivatma experiences that love. Along with that love, along with that prema, automatically all other things like detachment, vairagya, anasakti, all those things automatically come. The Jivatma doesn't have to separately endeavor for those things. Those things are a byproduct. Mukti also is a byproduct of prema.
Understood.
Prema is, yeah. So when the Jivatma has prema with him, then he experiences intense happiness. Sandrananda Visheshatma. We saw the 6 qualities of Uttama Bhakti, right? A few sessions back, if you recollect.
Yeah, yeah.
Kevala Bhakti.
Yeah. Extreme state of happiness.
Correct.
And Sri Krishna Karshini Chasa. So prema is that state of happiness where nothing matters. So much intense happiness that the Jivatma feels when it has that prema. So we say prema to Krishna, but when we use this phrase prema to Krishna, it can sometimes give a misunderstanding to a lay person that we're talking about something very narrow because we're talking about only one person, Krishna. What we don't realize when we say that is that prema to Krishna means prema to all living beings, to every living being, whether they are bhakta or not bhakta, whether they are human being, non-human being. And prema towards not only living beings, but non-living beings, non-living entities also, like this table, chair, everything. Prema towards the universe, understanding that everything is a part of Bhagavan. Bhagavan resides in everything.
There's only one living entity, and that is Sri Bhagavan.
There's only one living being, and that living being manifests in so many different ways. Right? So in the manifestation as Jivatma, as a Baddha Jivatma, it performs Papa, Punya, etc. But there is Bhagavan present in all of them.
Nice.
So prema helps us to see that. And prema is towards everything. There's no hatred towards anything when that prema comes. That's the reason why it gives so much happiness. By its very nature, it's happiness causing, it's happiness producing. So the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, a book by Jiva Goswami, I beg your pardon, Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami was Jiva Goswami's guru. So Rupa Goswami has written this very elaborate thesis. It's like a doctoral thesis, but much more than a doctoral thesis. It's very elaborate analysis of Bhagavatam, in which he dissects the Bhagavatam along multiple, themes. Okay, like you, not you, Rakshit, but the PhD students, they will understand. They do a literature review, right? When you do a literature review, you dissect the literature on multiple themes. That's what he has done in that book, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Yeah, when I said PhD student, I can see Swapnil's face appearing there. Yes. So in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the analysis of prema is done very elaborately on the basis of the Bhagavatam. The prema is described in the Bhagavatam, and Rupa Goswami brings it out very nicely in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think that clarifies a lot of my questions.
Okay.
And also, sir, just to follow up on Rakshit, I just wanted to say that Kevala Bhakti, sir. I mean, Kevala Bhakti, even though it looks so simple, like it's only about love and this one, but it's very difficult to, I think, practice it and doing it. Like having compassion. As you said, there is no hatred, there is no negative thought process. Practicing compassion for everyone, that becomes a challenge, sir. Like sometimes, today we had a bit of untoward incident where one of the hawkers wanted money out of us at Baidyanath Dham, and I was really angry with that. But I'm able to relate that having compassion and understanding that you see a Lord among everyone is very easy to say, but difficult to practice with that.
Yeah, true. I agree with you.
So I'm using
Process.
Sarthak. Sarthak is also here.
Yeah, I saw Sarthak's face. Yes.
Pranam, sir.
Pranam, am I audible to you also? You've been hearing?
Yes, sir.
So I have a question from the story that you narrated in the beginning.
Yes.
So when Hanuman, the one revealed himself, so there was this moment when he said that the logic behind his existence and why he was not moving. So that logic initiated that thought in Bhima's mind that he's not an ordinary person. Right? That so I just wanted to connect that kind of an understanding to the discussion we were having just now, prema and bhakti. So my question is that what exactly is the role of logic in feeling prema for Sri Bhagwan or for any living entity, and for that matter, prema or bhakti, any one of those, like, how important is logic to feel that kind of happiness?
Logic by itself does not give happiness, but logic motivates us to follow the path towards prema. So the process of bhakti is a process in which we perform different types of activities which help us to connect with Bhagwan. Like, for example, doing japa of his names is the most fundamental activity. Reading Shastra, particularly Bhagavatam, the Bhagavata Puran, is the core. It's the highest among the Purans, and it describes Bhagwan's bhakti in the best possible way, better than any other Shastra does. So reading the Bhagavatam or even Bhagavad-gita, that's another activity. Doing seva to his bhaktas in different ways, or to the deity in the temple, doing seva to the temple and deity in the temple. So there are many, many angas of bhakti, and engaging all our time through one or more of these angas is the process of bhakti. So if we live our life in that process all the time, slowly the consciousness about Bhagavan develops, and the hankering for prema. Prema is not given by Bhagavan so easily. That is why one of the 6 qualities of Uttama Bhakti is also that it is Sudurlabha. Sudurlabha means something that's very rare. It's not given so easily because Shri Bhagavan wants to give it to somebody who really hankers for it, who has the Shraddha in it, and who really, really wants it. Okay, so one of the qualifications for prema is the hankering for prema, the want, the desire, just like we hanker for anything in this world, right? So sometimes, or as children, you see, as children, we don't have much logic. We only hanker. We see another child, for example, sucking a lollipop, and we immediately want that. And the hankering is so bad that at that point of time, we don't want anything other than that lollipop. Even though our father and mother may give us a lot of logic and say that that lollipop is a cheap one, I'll buy you ice cream better than this. No, I don't want ice cream. I want only lollipop. So logic fails. So similarly, when the hankering for prema is so strong that it goes beyond logic, it's just a want, a strong desire that I want that prema at any cost. I'm willing to give my life for it, but I want it. Okay. So it's very similar to how people otherwise also hanker. So adults, I guess it's an example of a child hankering for lollipop, but think of how adults are willing to give their life for experiencing different types of things in this world itself. For example, I want the experience of standing on top of Mount Everest, right? I know I have a friend here in Jamshedpur who has gone up Mount Everest. He has climbed Mount Everest. And he's also a runner like me. And he was describing to me that, how he tried to climb first time, and then there was a big avalanche, and immediately there was a warning from the government that it's dangerous now. So they had to abandon. And it's a big process because you spend a huge amount of money to climb Mount Everest. You spend 20 lakhs, 25 lakhs for one trip. It's not just like just climbing, walking up a hill. So just abandoned it because life, is a matter of life and death. And then he said again, after the 6 months, again they made an attempt. And the second attempt, he succeeded. He climbed Everest. And that is an achievement. So the hankering for climbing and being on top of Mount Everest is so strong that all logic fails. There's no logic, because logic will say that don't go, you can lose your life. You're so young. You're hardly 25 years of age. Why do you want to risk now? So all logic will fail. Because that thought that I will be standing on top of Mount Everest, and what an achievement it is, and how people will recognize me after that. So in Jamshedpur, there are only 2-3 people like that. I think only 2 people like that. One him and one lady also is there. So that hankering, looking for. So when somebody hankers for prema, when that hankering develops, then he's on track. So sometime Bhagavan gives it, and it's not a mechanical outcome. Prema is not a mechanical outcome of an activity. For example, when I say mechanical outcome, when I say press this switch, okay, the light comes on. If I press it again, it will go off. It's a mechanical outcome. So prema is not like, it's not like you did japa for so many years, you did seva like this. So all the, like you do your MBA program, or 2 years, you do all the courses, you get your grades and you get a degree and you go. It's not like that. It doesn't work that way. It is purely by the kripa of a bhakta that you get. And Guru is pleased, when Bhagavan is pleased, when completely at their free will, prema comes. And of course, one more thing is, it's not like a switch in the sense, it's not a discrete thing. It is like, it's a continuous thing. Prem first appears, in Rupa Goswami explains in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, in the part 1, in the very beginning, he says bhav first appears as bhav, and that bhav becomes more and more mature over time and becomes prem. So initially when it comes, it's just like, he says, the rays of the sun. In the morning, well before sunrise, maybe 45 minutes before sunrise, we see the first rays of the sun. We see the sky becoming lighter, right? The darkness becomes less, and some dim light seems to be coming, right? And we can start to see things, not clearly, but we can start to see. Even if we are in complete darkness, first some things become visible, right? So that's the first appearance of prema. It appears like in that form, the sun at the dawn, pre-dawn stage. It appears as bhav. And he gives the symptoms of bhav. And even that bhav, he says, Rupa Goswami says, it creates ushnata. Ushnata means literally excitement or heatness, excitement. Ushna actually means heat, but ushnata here means excitement. It excites the person. It fills a sense of excitement, even that twilight, that dawn kind of thing, that's initial light, dim light. So prema in its dimmest form is enough to cause, the person knows that something is coming to me, and he feels it, right? And of course, Rupa Goswami in the same chapter, this is the 3rd chapter of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he cautions, he says that one can sometimes mistake what is called as abhas. Abhas means something that appears like bhav but is not. Raga bhas. Or ratyabhas, he uses the word rati. Raga and rati he uses interchangeably. And rati, when it comes, rati becomes bhav. And he says that abhas is something that appears and seems to be like that. It seems to be that bhav, but it's not bhav. It should not be mistaken for bhav, because it goes away after some time. He also cautions against aparad, doing aparad or offense. And there are different types of aparad that we can do, either directly or indirectly also. So we have to be very cautious not to do aparad on the path of bhakti. In the path of bhakti, there is no papa and punya. There's no punya. Bhakti is not a path of earning punya, and I'll go to Swargalok. It's not like that. Neither pap nor punya comes. But bhakti, the opposite of bhakti is aparad, or what goes counter to bhakti is aparad. Aparad is something that destroys bhakti. So when we commit offense can be in various types, including one type of offense is also offending other people. The person could be a bhakta. If you offend a bhakta, it's a very serious offense. But even if you offend somebody who is not a bhakta, even that is an offense. It's not pleasing to Bhagavan. So our behavior, everything we do, everything should be very, very done very carefully, thoughtfully. Bhakti is a very thoughtful process. Bhakti is not merely, a display of emotions. The common understanding, the Aam Admi understanding, if you talk about bhakti, is about going to a temple and singing or something like that, right? Or sometimes shedding tears, talking very emotionally. That's understood to be bhakti. But bhakti is not that. It's a very, very systematic thing. It's a very systematic, processual thing. It has process in it. There's a whole process in it. So I think in the coming classes, as we speak about bhakti more and more, as 9th chapter develops into more aspects of bhakti and 10th chapter, 11th chapter and 12th chapter come, I will bring in concepts from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. I have the first volume. It is in 4 volumes actually. And I will bring some more ideas from there, Rupa Goswami's words. They must have been geniuses, I think, these people who wrote these books, because the way they have structured it, it's so logical, so smoothly goes from one thing to another thing. And even if you study that, you get an idea of how you should, write a thesis, write a paper. You see the way they move the logic from one point to another point. Very systematic. So these things have not been taught to us, right? Our education system has only taught us what the Westerners developed. We take pride in speaking good English. We don't know what we really should know. I mean, so much we are losing actually by not being able to read the Shastra in its original form. Not even know what Shastra is available. So our generation, or let's say your generation, I'm one generation above you. So you should change it, right? You should bring about this change.
Effect is still pervasive.
Hmm?
Macaulay effect is still pervasive.
Yeah, it's still there. The trickling has not stopped. It's still there.
Even in Hindi as a subject, we just have like few stories and
Yeah.
poems.
Yeah.
We don't have like the rich literature.
A lot of it is, yeah.
Even if we like opt for
Yeah, even Hindi is such a rich language, no? Yeah.
Yes. Even in Hindi, we like include some of these texts.
Yeah.
But I remember when I was in 8th class, we had Ramayana as one of the texts. In like I studied in Info school, so there we had like in 8th class we had Ramayana to be studied along with the textbook of this Hindi textbook as the course.
Okay.
But not after that. Okay, plan to increase that.
We should, yeah. Today, India is slowly going towards that. Increasingly, people are offering subjects, courses in different forms. And
a lot of times, Sanskrit was not offered after 8th, but now it is being offered in most of the junior high school.
Yeah.
12th.
Yeah.
Is there now.
In fact, I know one group of people in Chennai. They've been very diligently working to write textbooks in Sanskrit for all classes in all subjects. Yeah. So then I asked, how is it practical? Means who will buy this textbook or who will use it? Because no school is Sanskrit medium. We have schools which are English medium. We have schools which are Hindi medium. We have schools which are different language mediums. All regional languages, we have schools in those languages. But we don't have a Sanskrit medium school. So they just reply, we will start it. We will start a Sanskrit medium school and we will teach in Sanskrit all the subjects. Then I said, okay, then how will who will come to enroll for your thing? Just like people enroll for other language schools, like people enroll in Hindi medium schools. Probably the number of children studying in Hindi medium schools in India is more than the number of children studying in English medium schools. It could be because the population is like that. Similarly, in the respective states, their respective languages also, the schools having those languages will be more. So why not Sanskrit medium? They asked me. So then I said, okay, what will happen to the person after he graduates from your school? He has to enter into college. Then you need Sanskrit medium colleges. Then what happens? He has to have a career. He has to work in some company. Now, English is spoken in all the companies. He says, what do people do who study in the other regional medium schools? People study in Hindi medium. Don't they get jobs? And then I realized, yes, actually in XLRI also we have some faculty members who studied in non-English medium schools. There's faculty members here who studied in Hindi medium schools, Bengali medium schools.
One of our class toppers, Sumit, he actually studied in Marathi medium school.
Marathi medium school, yeah. Right? See, so why not?
And he's one of the class toppers, right?
Yeah, wonderful. See,
yeah.
So people who study in other medium schools also are toppers in some institutions, right? So why not? And then that opened up. I mean, I was so ignorant. I mean, when these people spoke to me about their vision for the future of India, teaching Sanskrit in schools as Sanskrit medium schools, not just teaching as a third language, right? It's the third language right now. That opened the possibility. It's possible, actually.
They just have to master the art of learning multiple languages at a higher
Yeah, and
age.
so they will be taught English. So the people who are studying in Sanskrit medium schools, they will also be taught English as a third language or whatever.
As third.
Second language, third language.
Yes, yes.
They'll be taught other languages also. They're not going to learn only Sanskrit. But they will learn Sanskrit so well that they will know the Indian literature thoroughly. They'll be able to catch it. Learning Sanskrit, and compared to many other languages, learning Sanskrit is not only about learning a language for communication. It is learning a whole culture. Sanskrit is Samskriti. Samskriti comes with Sanskrit. When you learn Sanskrit, Samskriti comes with it. You can't have, or you will have very few people who know Sanskrit very well, but are like rogues. People who are well educated in Sanskrit are also cultured, because so many values are taught right from the very first thing that you learn. Right? Isn't it, Rahul?
Yeah.
Rahul has grown up in a school where...
No, we actually had till 12th. In fact, in 12th, I had 99 out of 100 in Sanskrit. It's not just, as you said, it's not just language, Subhashita,
Yes.
Panchatantra. There are a lot of stories which are taught right from my high school in Sanskrit language itself.
Right.
In fact, my aunt, who is around 50 right now, she can tell Subhashita, which she had learnt back in her school days, because those things not only by heart, but also there is so much meaning and essence in those Subhashita that people actually try to implement them in their lives.
Right.
So yeah, Sanskrit is very relevant in Karnataka. I don't know what is the situation outside Karnataka. A lot of schools have offerings of Sanskrit, as well as even in 11th and 12th. People have, along with friends, they have Sanskrit also as an option.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's there. Yeah.
Actually, in most of the schools, I can remember that in my school, it is used as a subject for scoring very good marks.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yes.
No one wants to learn.
Yeah.
That's what we were told.
Yeah.
That if you take Sanskrit as an optional, the scope of scoring very good marks is generally
It's
higher
easy.
than opting for Hindi.
Sanskrit exam papers are easy to
I
score.
think
Yeah.
the experience has been like extreme. Some people in my school, I used to love Sanskrit, so I used to score at the higher end. But then there were some students who used to feel exactly the opposite. That it's very tough, and it's very like the toughest subject to score because of the matras and halant. And there were no people in the mid who found it average. Either people like who scored very good or scored like faced a lot of challenges.
Polarized audience.
But I felt that yes, there are more chances to, if you just understand the sense, the semantics of it, the how to write it, and the rules of it, basically.
Yes.
Then I think it's not a very tough language.
Not at all.
And
it's very
you
structured.
then you gain a lot of things.
Yeah.
Had I been had I got a chance to continue it after 9th and onwards, and I also must have been lucky like Rahul.
After you finish your FPM, you meet me, and then I will tell you some ways by which you can resume that journey. Right? There are many ways in which you can learn Sanskrit now.
I just got it in 7th, and it ended with. So I just had it for 2 years, and those 2 years I still cherish. I still remember them as one of the most.
You can make it your lifelong thing, and in future, if you have children also, you can probably orient them in that direction, right? You're a dharmic person. Any of the online participants, any questions do you have? Okay. We can close now. I'll do the Antimangalam. Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Gobhramanebhyo Shubhamastu Nityam Lokas Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padagum Sada Pashyanti Surayah Divi Vachakshuratatam Tadvipraso Vipanyavo Jagruvagum Sassamindhate Vishnoryat Paramam Padam Paryaptya Anantarayaya Sarvastamotiratra Uttama Mahat Bhavati सर्वस्याप्त्यै सर्वस्य जित्यै सर्वमेव तेना आप्नोति सर्वं जयति। Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Tatsat. Dhanyavadha. Punarmilamah.